Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. My name is Phil Nightingale. I'm the general manager. And Josh Crawford, our service director. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Beautiful Saturday morning out in Cake Land, right?
Yes, it is.
I still feel like I'm jacked up on the screen, Josh. Me and Josh messing with the camera here this morning, trying to get you a better picture so you can see our beautiful faces. So much
Hold
easier.
on the me and Josh.
Huh?
Hold on the me and Josh. Only one of us was jacking with the camera.
Who was that?
I don't know.
Wasn't me, was it?
Yeah.
Hey, anyway, it's a call-in show, 316-462-3673. Hey, anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything you want to talk about in the automobile world, anything in the racing world, whatever you want to talk about. Here about 9:15, we're going to have Trenton Berry from Racing Dirt to call in and give us an update on what's going on USMTS. They got rained out last night down in Humboldt. And had a good night on Friday night, so we'll see what they're going to do. If they're going to make it up today, they're going to run 2 shows. They're going to run Sunday. What they're going to do, I don't know if they've made a decision yet, but maybe Trenton can get us an update on what's happening down at the King of America at the Humboldt Speedway. A lot of cars down there, over 120 cars down there, Josh. So looks like a lot of fun, but kind of cold.
That is a lot
wet.
of cars.
So
everybody's itching. Got the itch, I'm guessing.
Yes, that's very true. Talk about having the itch, boy. I'm telling you.
Ready to go.
Yes. Anyway, Jeffrey Coates, good morning, and Jason Koss, good morning. Anyway, Josh, is always a call-in show. It's the only show you get paid to call in on. So what is in that package for each and every caller?
So we're going to mail it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hambelton Ford. While we're performing that, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on your vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components on that vehicle. You'll also receive yourself $10 to Mel's Diner so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner. You're going to get complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer, and then a BG products package, which is going to consist of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then CF5 for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. So,
all right, 316-462-3673. That's the number it dials right into the front desk here at the dealership, and tell the young ladies in there if you want to get passed in the podcast, we'll get you passed in here and have some exciting stuff. So anyway, so like I said, USMTS got rained out last night. Trenton Berry will be calling us in here shortly to give us an update. Hopefully they've got a schedule what's going to happen there from that part, so who knows. Anyway, Josh, 23 Super Duties are here.
Yep.
I got a few of them coming in the ground, so that's exciting. We haven't seen a diesel yet, but I know they're coming. They're finally started shipping those, so it's exciting time there.
We had 3 drop last night, so we're
and the next thing is the Bronco order bank, long-awaited 23 order bank is going to open. They're telling me Monday at 3 o'clock our time. I hope that stands still and holds there for us so we can start ordering the Broncos for the first time. And, God, I don't know. It's probably been at least a year, I think, since we've been able, because there's been so many orders and so many backlogs and stuff like that in there from that part. And so we've not been able to actually order any of those. So it's exciting that the order bank's going to open up. And for the 23 model year, going to be a short run, though, because we basically only got about a 6-month window there to build the rest of the 23s from that part. So if you're looking to maybe get in on that Bronco order, we'll be ready to start taking orders Monday afternoon from that part. So exciting stuff there too. So
yeah, it's been that's been a long time waiting on that side of it. So
it has been, and there's still a lot of what they call commodities, or what I call parts availability and everything else, what they can build and can't build and that sort of thing too. And I get it, the supply chain still kind of jacked up and messed up, and hopefully someday we'll get this thing under control and have enough commodities, or I'm just going to call it parts. They call it commodities. I don't know where that comes from or whatever, but it does. But to build these units and stuff like that too. So anyway, 316-462-3673. Hey, let's get the phones ringing. Love to hear from you. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything whatsoever, and anything in the racing world whatsoever too. So anyway, Josh, I heard you this morning saying PDI, so we got a few units rolling.
Yeah, we got 3 Super Duties that showed up last night, and so we were going to get those up and going and ready. I seen them unloading them when I was pulling out last night, and so I'm sure those belong to an individual, and we got to get them their vehicle.
They're
So
all sold.
that's
I know it's free. They are, and everything else too. So yes, they are sold. Mr. Furman, you're in Iola. I hear you. So you must have stayed down there and through the rain out that they had last night. So sorry, but Mother Nature wasn't very nice to you guys down there at Humboldt last night. But hopefully they'll get things dried out this morning and figure out what the schedules are going to have. We're going to hear from Trenton Berry again, of course, here shortly. Hopefully he's got the updates and everything else too. So James Furman, hope you're staying warm down there and staying dry and everything else too. So
we've got this week coming up is going to be our grand opening for the detail shop on Thursday. So we got that coming up. I cannot believe that we're already approaching the end of this month.
End of March. It's crazy. We always
Yeah.
talk about too, Josh. Where'd this year go? What's happening here?
It's,
It's time flies. You're having fun, right? So
very much so. But yeah, looking forward to that. We've got the vacuum system put in yesterday, and so
we messed up. We said we was going to get Calvin or Caleb on here and talk about different things. We didn't do it, but I know he's not here today, so we got to prep him for that for next Saturday. Maybe we get him on here live, and of course, if everything works out, Josh, I might not be here next Saturday.
There you go. Yeah.
So should be racing in Hayes next Saturday. We'll see. Hopefully the weather holds up right now and everything else from that part too. But right now it's not looking very good for that part. But I hope it is, so we can be in Hayes racing. Jake and I can be there racing the modified on Saturday. We're going to be racing Friday and Saturday. Really supposed to be a practice Thursday.
I was going to say we need some practice, I think, before we just jump in.
Well, it looks like we're going to have to jump in and just
we're just going to jump in.
Just going to jump in and get after it. So anyway, good morning, Amanda. How are you? Anyway, 316-462-3673. Let's get some phones ring. Let's get some questions. Let's get something happening or whatever from that part. And
last week we had the discussion of pickup and delivery or mobile service, and I don't know if if there's some of the same listeners on there, but if anybody has any additional comments over that, definitely love to listen to those and see what your thoughts are on that as well.
Go into a little more detail in case we got some listeners, Josh, going in here live today, maybe weren't live last Saturday or whatever.
Yeah, sure. So there's a big push, from Ford to for dealers, especially pro dealers, which is more of the fleet side of things, but a big push for dealers to offer a mobile service. So that's where, a technician would actually come to you for whatever your service needs are. Now, it's not on everything. It's only supposed to be, maintenance items or like a recall or
engine overhauls or nothing.
Yeah, we're not going to be, overhauling an engine offsite, but we've looked at that years ago. Even had a little bit of a mobile service deal in Hutch. There had kind of some tires with a tire trailer and stuff like that we did. That was more for larger tires and stuff like that. But it just for a consumer, what you're receiving is not the best. I understand it might be a convenience side on the consumer side to not have to go to the dealer, but we really combated that with pickup and delivery. And so, we do a massive amount of pickup and delivery and have for many years. Ford has finally caught on to that, and, they're making a lot of dealers, go that route, which I think is great. And as a consumer, in my belief, I think you're really achieving the same thing. You're getting your car taken care of and you're not having to take time out of your day to, take it to the dealer or drive to the dealer. But on the mobile service side of things, there's no way we could have all the parts that we needed once we got to your home. If I think maintenance wise, I think of the environment that tech is going to be working in and how efficient he's going to be, just all the extra added steps, just not being in his environment from that side of it.
Agree with you 100% on that, Josh, too. I think there is a niche for the mobile service, but let's hear from you. Love to hear from your opinion. Would you love to have us come to your home or your work or whatever and service your vehicle, or would you rather us come pick it up and bring it in? And of course, Dan Wick says pick up and delivery. Morning, Delbert. Yeah. Delbert all coming in live here from us too. So, Josh, there's all kinds of. I think there's a niche for the mobile service. For example, if we were landlocked, we couldn't build any more bays, that kind of thing. That part, not our situation here. We've got plenty of bays and plenty of technicians and stuff too. And I'm with you. I'd rather have the car here so I can do a better quality inspection. I can get the tires off. I can look underneath the car and find things that might be little now that might turn into something bigger later. and look that car over. And this multi-point inspection, it really has been going on for a long time. I still remember back when I was 8 years old working with my dad doing service jobs every 3,000 miles. And he used that same example. Someone needs to get under that car and look at it and see what's going on. Nothing better than it was 3 months or 3,000 miles. Of course, now we're going 5,000 miles in 5 months, which, is crazy, because we used to do so much, just open the hood every time we got gas. And now we don't. Now we're getting gas and we're going inside to get into something to drink to keep on moving down the road. And we don't even think about popping the hood from that part. But now, anyway, love to hear from you. What's your opinion? Pick up and delivery or mobile service? Would you love that? Which one would you be more happy with? Whatever. Would love to hear from you. Love to hear your votes. Or if you want to call in and talk about it, love to hear from that too. If you just want to make the comment like Dan Wicks does, doesn't matter.
And I mean, the other side of that is 5,000 miles is a long ways. I mean, from a map, that's literally from Miami, Florida to like Anchorage, Alaska is about 5,000 miles. You wouldn't just go on that road trip and not look over a vehicle. You wouldn't just hop in it and take off. I wouldn't think,
some people do and everything else like that. Josh, I was just talking to a guy last night that we've serviced his car. He bought it from us in 12.
Mm-hmm.
And in 12, it had 20,000 miles on it. And talking to him last night, it just turned over 300. Okay, 300,000 miles. Yeah. Now, do you think he's maintenance that vehicle?
I mean, you would have to have. You would have had to have.
And I told him, I said, you've got every bit of money out of that car you can get if you got 300,000. He said, oh, I know, I have. He said, but I'm gonna drive it till the wheels fall off. And he says, I'm gonna call you, come pick me up. I said, you better be careful. You better be careful. You're going to be at, because he just told me he got back from Florida.
Yeah,
his son's living down there now, and he went down to Florida and saw him and everything else too. So
I mean, I think of people years ago, 100,000 miles. If you weren't taking that out of town, that wasn't a thing. And now, I mean, it's not even a question. If it runs good and starts good and drives good, 100,000 miles, that's just getting broke in.
Yeah, back in the day, you're going to make a 2-hour trip. You do a 30-minute walk around on the car, make sure the trunk had oil in it and everything else, your tool kit and all that kind of stuff.
There was jumper cables and all that. I mean, I don't know.
Tires aired up tight, everything else like that too. For you just make a 2-hour trip. Now we're going 5,000 miles. When you think about it.
Yeah, I think of the number of number of things that you would look at, or before you'd even do that. It's crazy from that side. But years ago, I think of the number of starters and alternators and components like drive belts or just belts in general, that hoses that you would put on these cars. And I mean, I don't know, the manufacturing process has gotten so much better from that side, and we don't put those components on very much anymore when it comes to a starter, an alternator, or anything like that. Looking at a video here of an old car on there.
It's a Mustang convertible. Looks like it's going for a sale. Somebody's putting it through a sale and everything. AC compressor is completely no. Right?
Yeah. Where did all?
Oh, look, we're losing the connection issue here. We're okay here.
Yeah, are you froze over there? Yeah, I think
now we're back live. Now. I think.
Yep. May take a minute. Yeah, there it is.
There we go. Lost the connection there for a minute. Sorry about that.
That was because Phil was sucking it on the internet, watching this. Looking at buying it at an estate sale. Just years just to go and really fix that and make them better for sure. So
we keep losing connection, Josh. Now we're back again. Not sure what happened, but I don't know why we're losing that connection, Josh. But anyway, Trenton Berry's on the phone. We'll get him patched through here in just a second. Trenton Berry from Racing Dirt. He's the owner of Racing Dirt. He's back at Hambelton Speedway today. He was there Friday, and give us an update what's going on. And sorry, I'm trying to concentrate on this text got coming in here too, but I'm going to give us an update on Trenton, on what's going on in the USMTS, what the schedule is going to be like, and everything else too. Trenton, you're live with Under the Hood. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, good morning. Hey, I'm doing great.
Doing good this morning?
Yeah, I'm doing great. You guys able to hear me?
Quiet.
Yeah, I think I got you here. Let me switch headsets here with Phil real quick.
Understand. Sounds good. Yeah, it's we had a good night there a couple of nights ago, and unfortunately the rain jumped in there last night and got us, and it was man, it was one of those kind of nagging rain situations where it didn't really rain hard enough, and then it stopped all of a sudden, and the back got the racetrack rolled in, and just about the time they did that, it started sprinkling again, and it didn't quit for another hour or two. So by that time, the sun was going down, and your prospects for drying out the mud are pretty slim at that point.
Yeah, being like that make a pretty rough racetrack too. So anyway, look like he had a good Friday, had a good Friday night, good showing there, and Terry Phillips knocked off the win Friday night. So pretty cool there.
Man, he did. He did a really good job, and that was his first win in his brand new race cars that he built. So his 39th ever with the USMTS, and had a great race behind him. And I tell you though, I'm not so sure that maybe Ryan Gustin's probably not the fastest one in the pits, and that was crazy. He never got a chance to test. He's running Chris Kratzer's race car, and he never got a chance to test the car prior to getting in. And he didn't quite have everything like he wanted it just perfect on Thursday, but they worked on it yesterday, and they had it ready to go where he was even a little more comfortable in the car. So I really think he's going to be pretty formidable tonight. Is Gustin.
Okay, we're going to find out. So were we making up last night? What's the schedule like? What's happening there? Do you know yet with what's the weather doing there?
Yeah. So it's so the weather's pretty good right now. They're not. So in the past, they've ran 2 shows on some of these Saturdays, but boy, that just makes for a long day of racing. We did that last year. So we're gonna scrap Friday. We're gonna run 1 show on Saturday, and part of that, there was a change in the format on the B-Mod side of this thing, and that kind of plays into this too. With the Battle at the Bull Ring, there's a ton of good B-Mods here, and they're paying a lot of money. There's $10,000 on the line over these 3 races, just winners' money. So by changing these to individual day payoffs, you're kind of able to hedge your bet against weather, and trying to race this time of the year around here is tough, right? And so this is really probably the best format to get this thing in. So I think everybody's pretty excited. We're not going to have to put a 12-hour show in today. So we're going to come back. Normal start time tonight. I believe it's 5 o'clock. They said. I was trying to find that here real quick. But I believe it's 5 o'clock was the original scheduled start time for Saturday night. So $12,000 to win for the USMTS, and then it's $5,000 to win for the B-Mods tonight. So kind of a co-headliner on the main event side. This is sure a neat deal.
Okay, let's flip over to the B-Mods a minute. I didn't watch much of that, of course, because the time spent on Friday for me there. And how did the B-Mods come out, and what's exciting there, and who do you think is going to be the winner tonight?
Well, so it was a Chris Jackson runaway, and he won by over 2.5 seconds. He's from Lebanon, Missouri. He's won a ton of big races. He is kind of the perennial Lucas Oil Speedway track champion, and that's kind of what he hangs his hat on. And he builds race cars with his cousin Tony Jackson Jr. They call him J2 chassis, and he's got several good cars out here. Shadron Turner's another good one. Had a great run in USRA points last year, and won around 30 races. So he's getting started off good too. He was pretty fast as well, but nobody had anything for the J2 of Chris Jackson. So we'll see. He's never won the Battle at the Bull Ring. He's won a ton of races and championships over the years, but this has always been one that has gotten away from him for whatever reason. And he was a dominant car by quite a bit in the B-Mods. So it'll be a full night for them. Nothing that happened Thursday matters for tonight. So they'll run on a draw and passing points, and then on the USMTS side for the mods, it's going to be time trials and invert of 6, and then passing points through the heat races. So it's good. There's just right around 120 cars, right close to it there Thursday. So expect you'll be somewhere in that ballpark again here this evening. And I believe, don't want to throw this out too. So Ricky Thornton is going to be here as well racing, and he was not able to be here by Thursday. He couldn't make it, but he had planned to run last night and tonight. So I think that'll be another big draw on the modified side of things. He's a former winner of this race.
Well, let's go to let's throw a little drama in this issue for a minute. Let's go to that invert
Yeah.
6 redraw, or invert, I should say, not a redraw. Invert on the 6, top 6. How's that all working out?
Boy, it's brutal. That invert of 6 is brutal. It's made for some different heat race winners, Phil. I'll tell you for sure. And you get some heat race winners, and you think so. On the Racing Dirt broadcast, I interview each one of those heat race winners, and it seems like most of the time, like guys should probably be happy when they win a heat race. And what I've noticed through 3 nights of this so far is I've done a lot of these, and the guys have won that heat race and they've rolled in. We talk to them right before they scale usually, and they're not just super stoked. And there's even been a scenario where they've won a heat race and went to a B main. That's tough. That's a hard thing for me to wrap my head around, the fact that you won your heat race, but then you're in a B main. And I know it occasionally happens. I just don't think it should happen. So that invert of 6 it's tough. That's a tough scenario to race under, I think.
I think so too. And just to kind of update the listeners a little bit on it, basically what we're talking about is the USMTS modifieds go out and they qualify by their heat race. And if you're the fastest qualifier, you now start 6th. And if you're the 6th qualifier, you start 1st. So they invert the top 6. But there's some different passing points up coming through there, but you got to pass some cars to get there to make some extra points.
So I don't know if a guy can do that or not, but could he stage himself to be maybe a little bit slower intentionally? I mean, you'd be playing a dangerous game there. But
so there it is, right?
Yeah.
Josh has just figured out racing right there. That was it.
Well, and
so that's what the really good ones will tell you, that sometimes they try to do that intentionally. Man, you're talking about splitting hundredths and tenths, hundreds, thousandths of seconds and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the lap times are so close, Josh. I mean, sometimes they're within 200ths of a second from top to bottom from that part. So you are splitting some hairs, but I don't know. I'd have to be letting out the gas a little bit too, so I was going in back in the field or whatever, so I can start further up that heat race.
It's so crazy too. Now there are some points for winning your heat races and so things. So there's some different incentives that were there before. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a pretty complicated format, and it's Todd's done several different things over the years. It was an invert of 4 last year, so they just inverted 2 more. But boy, that jump from 4, which was 2 rows, to 6, which is 3 rows, I think it's made a big difference. I didn't quite think it would be as much of a difference maker. It's hard to come from the 3rd row and win a heat race, because most of the time they're having to do it in 8 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got 8 laps. But the next thing is when you start the races at this part, to keep the racetrack to go the whole night, they've got to have that track pretty heavy or pretty wet. So basically, sometimes this first couple of heat races out, you're pretty slimy and stuff. And there really is no passing because you just can't get any traction or whatever with those motors and stuff to get around anybody too.
Too, even when you get a little bit of traction and the little bit of that slime goes away, a lot of times your line's pretty narrow too when it's so fast. So, if you're not the guy that gets to really pick your line, if you have to run where you have to run instead of where you want to run, which is what you have to do when you're a little bit further back, it's not necessarily an advantageous position to be in. I don't really know what the best scenario is. We were trying to talk through that. I still think if you can time in 3rd or 4th and be in that 2nd row, you're probably, if you carry some speed in your race car, that's probably your best spot to be most advantageous. To push forward to try to win that thing and get yourself in the redraw. It's all about the redraw. We haven't even talked about the redraw yet either. So
yeah, we can talk.
Then you take all these points and you take your top 8, and those guys they go pull poker chips out of a bag, and the top guy goes first all the way down to 8, and so you could also make a 4-row difference for your main event after that too. So it's all about being in that top 8 at the end of the heat races, because 1 through 8 really, you're all basically one and the same, and luck's going to seal your fate anyway at that point.
Yeah, and that's my thing is, every series has got their different formats and stuff, and I still really don't understand it. I mean, I don't know why on the heat race you invert anybody. I mean, you go out to qualify, you're first, you go, you make it happen from that part. I mean, NASCAR doesn't switch them up and flip them in and out. So I've always had a negative. I guess we can have all kinds of debates on what's good, what's bad, and everybody's got different opinion. I get
Yeah.
it. I don't understand the invert at all. And even in the top 8, once you get the top 8 drivers for the night and they go up there and pull that pill, I mean, it's a luck of the draw. And that's one thing.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me. I understand if you take a pill draw to get started from that part, but the heat race and that sort of thing too. I know there's all kinds of scenarios. I sit here, I got my mind going all different directions on what's right, what's wrong, what's fair, what's most competitive, and all that kind of stuff too. I get it. I mean, there's advantages both ways. I get it from that part.
But, and you want to be able to move around a little bit in heat races too. So you don't necessarily want your guys up front to always just go run away with it, but you also don't want to stick them in the back either, where they get your car destroyed and can't run the race that pays the money that everybody came to watch too. Yeah. So,
well,
I'm with you guys.
And Trent, what I'll say to that is, the USMTS is supposed to be the baddest ass modifieds running around, everything else like that, and it's run or go home. And I don't know. My opinion is, if you're running the top series or whatever, and you're the fastest dude out there, you need to be in the front. If you can't get to the front, you need to figure out what's wrong with your race car or your driver or whatever to get you up front and move that car to make it go faster. My opinion.
Yeah. Now, here's what's crazy about it though, right? So everybody, I think for the most part, agrees. Like, you're talking about dirt racing all across the country. Eldora is pretty much seen as the pinnacle, right? Like, everybody thinks Eldora Speedway and all like that is the place. Yep. I'm telling you, they are the most invertingest people racetrack I've ever seen. So, like, the World 100 and the Dream, the biggest stuff they run, they call it the Wheel of Doom there at Eldora, and they spin that Wheel of Doom, and that determines your 1 through 6 inverts. So I don't know what the best scenario. I've seen basically every scenario play out. I don't know that I have a strong opinion on what's better or worse.
No, that's what I say. It's a big debate. I get there's pros and cons on both sides, everything else like that, Fart. But, you take the weekly racers, and that sort of thing. Hey, I get that other part of that too. Do a pill draw, then passing points. So if you pass more people, the way you get moved up to the front or whatever from that standpoint too. But to me, the USMTS modifies. You're there with the cream of the crop. You're supposed to be the best. You're supposed to be running fast, all that kind of stuff. And to me, the fast guys, you go out there qualify to get fast. If you can't get there, you need to figure out a way to get there. That's just my opinion on that particular series.
Yep.
Don't agree with that on it. The USRA modifieds or the other way, the way IMCA does it too. I got battles with that too. I don't agree with how they line that stuff up either. It's not fair. It's just, you're not favoring the guy that's fast. You're favoring the guy that's mediocre.
Right.
From that.
What a lot of the veteran racers have told me on that was, hey, those inverts, and they call crush formats basically. Those formats worked really good when there were half seconds and seconds between the front to the back, and they said that it really is kind of problematic when you go to split tenths and hundredths of seconds.
Yeah, I mean, as close as these guys are in USMTS when they're running and everything else too. When you're qualifying, doing whatever from that part, a second from first to last. Many of these guys have spent what they've done and put everything together. Here we are, lost a connection again, Josh. I wonder what's happening there with us. I know. I guess fast.
It's been a great. We just ran over here Thursday night. Holy smokes! I thought last year was crazy with that 100,000 on the line for the points champion and all the cars we got. And my gosh, Phil, you look at these guys that are running for the rookie again this year, and some of those rookie holdovers from last year that are giving it another go, and some new people dropping in, and we got a whole bunch of late model racers this weekend. This one could, or at least early, is shaping up to be the strongest field we've had in quite a while. So I'm pumped. I hated last night. I really thought, man, when that sprinkle quit and the radar looked good there for a little bit, I thought, man, we are going to sneak this in. This is going to be crazy. So much of the country was rained out, but man, I'm really glad we're going to get to race today and finish this thing off. I think it's going to be quite a show.
Anyway, I haven't looked at the forecast, but the forecast looked good down in Humboldt so far for today and
Yeah.
tonight. Everything looks good there.
Yeah, and it'll be cool, but it always is. I shouldn't say always. I've worn shorts in this race before, but it's typically cool this time of year. So, yeah, I think pretty much a normal deal, So it's gonna be good. I'm ready to get after it.
Okay, so Racing Dirt got all kinds of apps you can jump on there to watch the races tonight at Humboldt. I don't know all your formats there, Trenton, so let everybody know how they can get on Racing Dirt. And I know how I get on. I get on Apple TV and I got the app. I click it and off I go. So.
There you go, attaboy. So yeah, so you can watch. You literally watch them from your smartphone, Android, Google Play, iOS, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire. I'm not sure I don't miss anything. Obviously, you can do it right from your computer, right from a Mac or a PC there. But basically, any way you consume your media, Roku. I didn't mention Roku there a minute ago. So we have channels in all those app stores for you to watch the race. So we try to be as accessible. We're not on absolutely every app, but we have the majority of them that are out there. There's so many of them out there these days. There's like stuff for Xboxes and PlayStations and specific smart TV. I mean, it's the options for streaming are endless, and we just kind of had to pick the biggest ones that were out there to put the channel on. So we look forward to having you however we can. We want to kind of meet you where you are on the streaming side of things.
Yep. So anyway, turn into Racing Dirt tonight. At what time do you say again? 5 o'clock is when you go live, or do you know?
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah. Well, they said 5 o'clock. So we probably go be up just a shade before that. Make sure everybody can get on and make sure all's good in the world. Hey, we are we're working out of that brand new Mel Hambelton Ford Transit van, Phil, and I'm going to say that thing has went over to just rave reviews from the crew, and some of the people have race officials, whatnot, stopped and looked at it and been pretty impressed. So what a great piece we're working production out of now.
Well, that's pretty cool. I was talking to Austin earlier this week, and I knew he was going to try to get it there, and I should have brought that up early. I didn't know if he finally did get it there or whatever. I knew he was doing a last minute couple checks and different things to get it there. So excited for that, and hope that makes things better for you guys and everything else too.
Like your MH Ford Transit vans, like your parts vans and things, it's so cool what you can do with them, because we took this thing that was just a blank canvas in the back. We got ours with the two captain's chairs in the front and a second row bench, which you could go with or without that bench. It allowed so much versatility. And then basically it was just a blank canvas in the back, and we were able to outfit it for television production. So man, it's a really cool product that Ford's come up with, and it's got a great engine transmission package in that thing too, dual rear wheels, so it's always stable when we're in it, and man, I couldn't be more impressed with the product.
Well, very cool, Trenton, and can't thank you enough for the great partnership we have with Racing Dirt, and love everything you guys do for us and everything else from that part too, and excited for tonight. Everybody jump on Racing Dirt. Watch the big race down at the Humboldt Speedway. I can promise you I'll be sitting on my couch tonight watching it myself, cheering everybody on and that sort of thing too, and everything else too. So Trenton, you got to stay warm, and glad the weather's going to work out for you guys and everything else like that, so we can get some badass modified run around Humboldt.
Man, I'm ready. Thank you for letting me come on, and Josh as well. Appreciate you too, man. Thank you guys.
No problem at all, Trenton. Go get fired up, get some coffee in you, and get things ready to go. And we'll be tuning in at 5 o'clock. Well, probably about 4:45, probably what you're saying, probably, right?
Yeah, something like 4:30, 4:45, something like that.
Somewhere around there. Tune in. Everybody.
How'd you know I was going to get coffee, Phil?
Well, I just know better. I just know better.
That's exactly where I'm headed.
All right, buddy. Hey, good luck tonight. Have fun. Stay warm, and let's see who wins out the King of are they calling it King of America and Battle of the Bull Ring together?
Yep.
All
so
together.
The Battle of the Bull Rings, the B mods, and the King on the mods. Yep, for sure.
All right, everybody, tune in to Racing Dirt tonight at 4:30 or so, right along there, and just cheer on your favorite driver. And I've got a lot of guys around here, Wichita racing down there too and stuff too. So everybody cheer everybody on. And Trenton, go get some coffee, have some fun, and appreciate everything, buddy.
Appreciate you guys. See you. Have a great day.
You too, bud. All right, 316-462-3673. Dial up anything you want to talk about in the automobile world, anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in the racing world, whatever you want to do. Let's get her fired up here and let's get to going. So thanks for Trenton Berry from Racing Dirt tuning in with us and giving us an update what's going on down there. But I tell you, Josh, that invert thing just drives me nuts.
So he started out talking about the guy that was running last night or about how he hadn't had any practice and he was leading the pack. So that was a little encouraging. I thought.
Well, okay, Ryan Gustin has been racing forever.
Yeah.
And I remember the very first time I seen Ryan race is right out here at 81 Speedway, and he was driving a modified for Ed Gressel. And I stood down in turn 3, and this is many, many years ago that I watched him go. And I mean, he just annihilated the whole place. I mean, he's got a knack to drive a race car that's unbelievable what he can do, but he's been concentrating on late models and stuff like that. And best what he said earlier, the late model stuff has got rained out. So that's why Ricky Thornton and a couple of other guys are coming to Humboldt to race from that part. And so we'll see what he can do.
Yeah. And I don't know, that inverting deal is
it drives me nuts.
But I suppose here's the thing about it is that everybody's at the same disadvantage or advantage, or, I don't know. To me, if you're out there and you're running fast, you belong up front.
That's why my thing is, I get the weekly racer shows. You're trying to get everybody competitive and keep everybody kind of even, not letting somebody win every weekend and that sort of thing on a weekly. But when it's the USMTS modifieds and they've spent millions of dollars and got big time sponsors behind you and stuff like that, and it's supposed to be you're the fastest boy out there to go win a race, and then I get penalized 6 spots if I'm the fastest qualifier. And that's happened. That's what happens to the fastest qualifier. Now you're starting 6th. I get it. If you can pass some cars, you can make some points and go. I get that. I'm going to take for Tanner, for example, last night. He started 6th and he finished 3rd. That put him right in the A main.
Well, here's my other question with that is how many laps? You know
8.
what I'm saying? You can't in 8 laps to go 6 spots. That's you're driving.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? If it was a 40-lap race or whatever like that, I don't know. I know.
I think here's the next thing. I think it's something different and it's new, and the drivers don't quite understand it yet. And I think as they go through the year, things will work out and level out a little bit more better and everything else from that part. But like Trent said, you win your heat races, you still might be in a B feature because you started first and you didn't have any passing points or whatever, but the guys behind you passed you, so they got more passing points than you do winning the heat race. And now you got to run a B feature. And the best you can start then, depends on which B feature you're in, because there's usually 3 B features.
Yep.
From that part. But, again, I don't like how IMCA does it either. And I'd like to have a debate with that too, on how they do it and everything else too. Because they basically, Josh, you go out on an IMCA show and you go in your heat race. And as long as you finish in the top 4 of your heat race, then you go to what they call a points average for how you finished out the year. I mean, for the races you've done. So if your points average is 1, guess where you start? 10th.
So between that and then I don't know, he had mentioned something, the Wheel of Doom, know, to draw for a spot. That just doesn't seem. I mean, I don't know, but it doesn't seem calculated. We're just luck of the draw on doing something like that for sure.
Yeah. So, and that's, again, I know everybody there's different analogies, and I'm sure the track sanction bodies can have a debate. I don't want to argue and get everybody mad or whatever. It's a debate on what we have difference of opinions and what goes on, happens, and everything else too. And so, and it's the luck of the draw. When you draw a pill every week to see how you go, so what? I mean, shoot, I can't draw a pill for save my, what. So, from that part. But again, there's all kinds of debates on which way to go on the racing side of that world. But I look at NASCAR. You go out and qualify first. Guess where you start? You start first. Okay.
Yep.
And even they take the Daytona 500. They give the top 2 qualifiers the top 1-2 spots, and they still got to run the 125 lap race. But guess what? They still qualify. They line up how they finish the qualifying race. So I don't know. There's all kinds of debates and battles and everything else like that too. But I still think that the USMTS guys need to be lined up as fast and go. There should be no invert, no pill draw, no nothing. If you qualified up there, you got the passing points. That's where you go. That's how it is. I mean, I feel like I'm the guy that's the fastest. I've worked my butt off, and I'm the fastest guy out there. I've qualified the best. I've done the things with, and then I got to start 8th.
And now you're penalized.
Because of a pill draw, I got to start 8th. I don't know. I'm sure we can get some debates going. If someone wants to call a phone up and get her going to and not prove me wrong, but just give me your opinion.
Yeah.
What you think or whatever too from that part. So, but anyway, it is what it is. It's the way the sanction bodies run your race. And it's kind of like the deal where I hear racers complain about the track. Okay. Well, I hate to tell you, if you're that good, get out there and prep that track better than that guy that's trying to do it right now. Because I can. You'll never hear me bitch about a track, because you know why? Number one, I can't prep that track any better than that guy that just did it. And number two, we all race the same track. I don't
everybody's
care what's going on or whatever.
playing on the
Every
same
driver
field.
has the same track to attack and go after. So stop complaining it's too wet. Stop complaining it's too rough. Everybody's got the same track, same thing. That's one thing I've learned from Buddy and Tanner, is learning how to read a track and learn what to do to the car and adjust the car for that feature and everything else for that part. And that's the guessing game. It's no different in NASCAR. Or different in NASCAR, they did a couple pit stops. They can change and adjust the car and get back in there and get going again. The modifieds, you can't do that. Or in dirt track racing, you really can't do that. So you got to make sure you're guessing the right way and knowing what you're going to set that car up when you go out for that main feature from that part.
Everybody's got the same feel. It's all in how you play your game, from that side of it. And then, so now let me ask you this. Do you think from, so you've got the racer's perspective on an inverted field, drawing, but now how about from a spectator's point of view? Does it make the race more interesting as a spectator?
I have to play that out too. I think it's difference in the different sanction bodies. I'm going to take, for like the USMTS, those guys are out there. They're within hundredths of a second of each other. Then you can go down to the wiki racers, and there's, sometimes a second difference.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the play out there too. I think different sanction bodies need to have different rules, which they do. I understand that part too. But from the racer standpoint, from a spectator standpoint,
from getting viewers involved and, fans involved and stuff like that, is there a gain to the sport or event from the spectator side of it because they do stuff like that?
Yeah, and I guess the next thing is I'll go back to the IMC division that Jake and I are running now. Is like I said, we're usually number one, and so we on points average, so we're always starting 10th in the feature. So does it take the guy that's running third or fourth or fifth a better chance for him to get up to the front and maybe win a race or whatever too? I see that side of the coin. I do, because the IMCA modifieds guys aren't spending the money that a USMTS guy is spending on his car, or what it takes to put one of those cars together to go race that stuff. And you can watch the USRA guys that go, when they come around to their home track or whatever, and they run against them. Very rarely do you see a USRA guy that's really competitive in the top 10 because of how fast those USMTS guys are. And again, those USMTS guys do so many more laps. They've got so much more experience and everything else like that too. And they just got it dialed in.
And the other side of that for me is more so maybe not the difference or the staging of how they place them or anything like that, but do they have enough laps to be able to, if everybody's driving their car, do they have enough time in the race to be able to do their job?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? In 8 laps, you can't, the 6 positions in that close of a difference. It's not there.
And then see, here's my next thing. And I always thought about this too. You go out and you run an 8-lap heat race. But then here comes the B features, and this is the guys that didn't qualify for the main show, and you got a B feature out there, and them things are anywhere from 12 to 15 laps. Well, listen, let's change that up. Let's do a 12, 15 lap heat race. If you're going to invert 6 and do an 8-lap B feature and see what that does for you from that part. I mean, I don't know. There's all kinds of debate. I don't want to take anything away from anybody out there of a sanctioned body, what they're making their rules, and here's one of the things. It's kind of like that deal last week when that guy that part. So anyway, Josh, we still seem having
really busy week for sure. Just seemed like had definitely a lot going on this week, and trying to get people their cars back. We get to this time of year and the time change. I think a lot of people associate with spring, and then spring comes summer vacations and trips, and people are starting to travel, more and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been very busy this week. Had a couple of different instances that revolved around special parts, or not necessarily special parts, but parts that were OE parts and not aftermarket parts. I think you kind of got involved a little bit with the gentleman with the hybrid battery, and that was all about getting the right part for the car the first time, and then also trying to diagnose it. The individual just was trying to save a little bit of money and went through and diagnosed the vehicle himself, and chose to replace the hybrid battery, which is an extremely expensive component. Got it in the car, and when he put it in the car, it just flat out didn't work out of the box. Well, it was because the component needed to be programmed. He couldn't find any information anywhere out there on Google that said that, and so just couldn't comprehend or understand why it wasn't working, and thought that it was just a defective part. And we're talking, a $5,000 or $6,000 part from that side of things. So we're able to get it in the shop and get it programmed in that amount of time. He thought it was just that, flat out convinced that it was defective. So we went on to eBay and bought another component, another battery, got it shipped in, and that component and his first original component, the vehicle had the exact same symptoms or conditions. Well, once we programmed the one that he purchased from us and got it up and going, it worked.
Hey, imagine that. So anyway, Google didn't help him.
Yeah.
I know Google does a lot of great things out there and helps us with a lot of things. I use it a lot too, and everything else like that too. So you just got to be careful on that side of the point. But it goes back to these manufacturers have set it up where you got to program these parts. It's not a plug and play kind of a situation anymore from that part. So you just got to be careful when you're trying to diagnose some of these things yourself. And I do know that we told the guy to be careful on what he was doing before he bought the battery and everything else too from that part. So
it just these vehicles are so complex. They're not points and condensers and cap and rotor and plugs and stuff anymore. It's there's so many different modules and things that are intercommunicating with each other from that side of things. And so but anyways, we got Richard's online. Richard, you're on live with Under the Hood. How are you?
Pretty good. How you guys doing today?
Doing very well.
Hey, it sounds like I'm going to be spending a lot of time out at the 81 Speedway this year, but does anybody have any kind of update on what's going on with the drag race track? Has somebody sold that to that sandpit people, or do you know anything?
Well, I can give you the best I can give you assumption I can. When we had a race open house here in the middle of February, the Simon family was here at the dealership. At that point in time, I don't think they had a firm plan what the plan was going to be yet for the drag strip. I stressed it and stressed it and stressed it to them that this town needs a drag strip, and I think they understand that. I think they're having everything they've went through the last couple of years has been a little bit of a battle for them and that sort of thing. But from that part, I think we'll see. What I'm guessing, and this is just a guess, we'll see a very limited amount of races out there this year, and I think they'll trying to go after it the following year from that part. But I just think there's so many things that need to be done to that racetrack to get it updated. Some things that need to be done to that thing to make it a little more safer, that sort of thing too. We have pushed and pushed and pushed, and to put up the barricade, get rid of the steel walls and put up some concrete barriers and stuff like that too. We've offered to spend a chunk of change to help them with that sort of thing too. But I just got to, it's the last I've heard from the Simons was here at the race open house, and that's kind of the best. I think you'll see a limited amount of races this year, and then I think next year they'll have something going from that part. Just my assumption of what I've got from that standpoint. But I know it's not for sale. I will tell you that he won't sell it. He's still wanting to find somebody that can run it or lease it or do whatever from that standpoint too.
Yeah, they've had a bad couple of years with weather. It seems like every time they got something good scheduled, they have been bit by weather. So it's kind of a tough go out there. But thanks for the update.
Yeah, no problem. But I did tell you Mel Hambelton Racing will support that track to do whatever we can to keep a drag strip in this town.
8, 5, 6, 7.
Guess we lost him. Anyway, we met with a guy, the new promoters down in Ark City, and had a great meeting with them too. So hopefully this race season get kicked off, get some warm weather going and everything else like that too. Sorry we lost Richard there for just a second, but I think he got everything.
Track is so local and just right there. And I mean, Wichita is big enough city. It really needs a track.
I agree. Agree 100% too. So, well, anyway, Josh, it's about 9:50, and I think we've kind of covered everything we need to cover today. I don't know any more calls coming through or whatever. So appreciate everybody watching, everybody listening. Good luck to all the USMTS guys down at Humboldt tonight, the USRB mods and the USMTS gentlemen. Tune in to Racing Dirt starting about 4:30 or so, or 4:45 for all the live coverage of what's going down at the USMTS race. We'll see how that shakes out again, see if maybe Terry Phillips can do a back-to-back. But hate to tell you, going to be pulling for the old Heart 2, Tanner Mullins to be pulling up through there and everything else like that too, with the Mel Hambelton race on the side of his race car. So good luck to everybody at Humboldt. Good luck, Tanner. We'll be pulling for you from here in Wichita and everything else too. Josh, any last comments or anything?
Just maybe go through the sponsors and
God, thanks for reminding me
let's
of
give
that.
them a little love. And...
Should we give them just a little bit of love? Anyway, Big Corner Carady for all your advertising needs. Hey, yeah, we own that company down just a little other side of Mays Road here on Kellogg. Jesse's got a great team of people down there that helps us put this show on, helps you advertise your company, help wrap your vehicles, race car wraps, window tint, anything to advertise your business. As they say, just Google us. BG Products, all the great preventive maintenance products we use right inside here from BG, and can't thank those guys enough for the great partnership we have with Kansas BG and also corporate BG. Love their test facilities right here and everything else too. So we got to get the old silver car back out on the dyno. Now we got the new motor and stuff in it. We'll see how that works too. But appreciate everything what BG Products does for us and a great partnership we have with those guys. And of course, Go To Rent. Hey, if you're looking for a rental car, 12 or 15 passenger van, give Stan a call right inside here at Melhelm Ford. Hey, I know the summer holidays are summer vacations are coming. There is some holidays in there too, isn't there, Josh? But get in advance. We got still about half the amount of vehicles over there and Go to Rent because of the supply issue and supply chain and everything else have there. So make sure you plan it up enough in advance. And I will tell you, the 12 and 15 passenger vans are going away because I've been trying to get more built and everything else. And met with Ford last week trying to figure out how to get some built and everything else to replace our inventory there, but it's being very, very, very hard. So plan ahead and everything, and let Stan help you at Go to Rent right inside here at Melhelm Ford. Hey, everybody, have a great Saturday. Stay warm, stay dry, and we will talk to you next Saturday, 9 a.m.